Please don't skip this video when I tell you what we're talking about today. Okay, so today we're talking about cover letters, but stay with me. I know most of you would rather poke out your eyes with a sharp stick than talk about cover letters, but I'm gonna share with you a really important tip about how you can make your cover letter better than your competition. You can make it so good that it'll actually get read. You can make it so that your boss will call you and hire you for an interview, thus becoming your boss, because he's not your boss when he calls you, but like after you start working for him, he'll become your boss. Just stay with me. Cover letters. First of all, new backdrop, right? New backdrop. We're in my office. It's a little echoey, and this office is full of a lot of hard things. That was supposed to be that way. Okay, so full disclosure, I love writing cover letters, and that's why I've decided to do a 3-part video series. Also, I know there's a lot of questions out there about how to craft a cover letter. So today, my goal is to give you my #1 tip for writing a good cover letter and to show you how you can craft your very own cover letter that will actually get read, separate you from the competition, and get you that coveted sit-down interview. Now, I am fully aware that I'm in the minority when I say I love writing cover letters because I talk to people a lot and the vast majority of them say they hate the whole process. And that makes sense because we're raised to not talk about ourselves. We're raised that it's not polite to wax poetic about our achievements, and then what's a cover letter? It's us waxing poetic about our achievements and who we are. So I get it, it's not necessarily easy, but your cover letter is your introduction, and much like a firm handshake, it's the first impression you're gonna make on a potential employer. So today, I'm gonna share with you my #1 tip for writing a spectacular cover letter, but first, I'm gonna tell you a little story. So years ago, my husband and I were living in South America, and we were walking down the street one evening when this man approached us. He was holding a few items in his hands, and he told us this story about how he was going through a rough time, and he asked if we could help him out. We told him we were sorry, we were unable to help, and he walked away. A few minutes later, I realized that one of the items that he had in his hands was a wallet, and that my husband was actually shopping for a wallet. So had this man approached us from a different angle by talking about what he could do for us, which in this case would be sell us a wallet, instead of asking us what we could do for him, he would have made the sale. And my husband would have had a way to carry around all his crinkly foreign money. You know how it gets when you are traveling? It's a lot. So I tell this story not only to lament this instance of poor salesmanship, but also to illustrate a common trap we fall into as job seekers. Your cover letter is essentially your sales pitch. Yet all too often, we waste precious white space talking about ourselves and neglecting to highlight what we can do for the company. So here is my #1 tip. Show what you can do for them. Remember, a business seeks new employees because they have work that needs to be done. So use your cover letter to show and highlight how your particular skills can fill the company's needs and not how the company can serve you. And guess what? That brings me to another story. Okay, I love this book. It's by Sheryl Sandberg. She tells this story in here about a time when she'd been working for Facebook for about a month. She got a call from an acquaintance who said this: "I want to apply to work with you at Facebook. So I thought about calling you and telling you all the things I'm good at and all the things I like to do. But then I figured that everyone else was already doing that. So instead I want to ask you, what is your biggest problem and how can I solve it?" Well, Sheryl actually writes down her answer here. She says, "My jaw hit the floor. I had hired thousands of people over the previous decade and no one had ever said anything remotely like that. People usually focus on finding the right role for themselves with the implication that their skills will help the company. This woman put Facebook's needs front and center, and it was a killer approach." So did you see what this woman did? She focused on what she could do for the company and not the other way around. She got the job, and within months she was promoted. Take the same approach and you can expect to get the same results. Detail how your skills and training can help the company and you'll have an inbox full of interview requests. Okay, so at this point you're probably like, okay, I get it, nice stories, talk about them, not about you, but how am I supposed to do this? Well, I'm so glad that you're wondering this because I actually wrote a blog post about this subject where I give tips on how you can structure your cover letter to focus on an employer's needs as opposed to your own. It's linked below this video, so be sure to check it out. And be sure to come back for my next video where I'll give you my 2nd tip for writing a fabulous cover letter.